And I am recording. So, okay, we're going to just go ahead and jump in. Welcome, everyone. I'm Washayla Sananda, and today I'm excited to share Jimmy Mack and Courtney Dillon with you. We are going to have such a good time. And so this is all part of the Alchemy of Ascension season 4. Both Jimmy and Courtney are speakers. If you're getting it, wonderful. And Courtney and Elisa Medhus are live today. Jimmy, I think you're tomorrow. I think yours comes out tomorrow. So
okay.
Yeah, so we're all just excited. I'm excited to share you with everyone. And you're both new to me this time. I hadn't interviewed you before. So you're both people who I'm so happy to be collaborating with and to share with the audience. So for starters, I would love to just give each of you an opportunity to introduce yourselves and then to say a little bit about what you do. And then when we get into the questions, what type of questions you'll be taking and what type of work you'll be doing with the participants. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead, Courtney.
So hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Washayla. I'm happy to be here. My name is Courtney Dillon. I am an intuitive, a medium, and I work with people to in intuitive readings, energy healing, and I work a lot with the Ascended Masters, actually. So that is kind of what I'm up to these days. I also teach classes online.
Great, thank you, Courtney. Also, so if someone were to get on, ask you a question, what type of question would be appropriate today?
So I would say just questions that would benefit the group, and talking about Ascension, whatever you want to talk about, but probably staying away from personal readings. That would be more like a one-on-one session. So
yeah, great. And so we want to make sure that everyone gets to ask questions. Just instead of making it about yourself, try and make it about something more that would be beneficial to the whole. And this is also, so everyone knows on Zoom, this is also streaming live to Facebook. And then later we'll post this to YouTube. So you will, if you do ask questions, just to be aware that if you're going to say something personal about yourself, you don't know exactly who will be watching. So it's best to keep it more general as much as possible. All right. Okay. And then Jimmy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Thanks for having me. It's Jimmy Mack, and I'm considered a medical intuitive and do a lot of spiritual life coaching. And we offer a course online to even show you how to do what we do. You can go to jimmymackhealing.com, or you can visit, of course, and watch our live interview tomorrow. And I work with clients in person, Skype, over the telephone, doesn't matter. It's all energy. We really do a lot of the pendulum work, apply kinesiology, muscle testing, that sort of thing. So if you've done sway testing before, used your fingers or a pendulum, you could join us with that today as well. And of course, if you have any questions about health, or perhaps you have something that, might help the whole group, like Courtney said, that'd be great. If you want to go deeper into something you have going on personally, then that obviously would be a better time if you're not on a live recorded event to schedule time individually. So, but we'll touch on whatever anybody brings up today, and we'll certainly clear it out energetically and help all the folks we can.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Jimmy. So just for starters, before we jump in and get questions going, I would love to invite everyone to do a quick connection meditation, just a few minutes, so we can all get on the same page and get present. So I invite you, wherever you are, just to close your eyes, deepen your breath into your belly, and just noticing what you're feeling, noticing your energy and your emotional energy, and just getting present in your body, And as you're experiencing yourself and your presence and your body and noticing, tune in to your heart center and breathe a deep breath of light into your heart center. And as you're centering in that space of your heart, bring to your heart an intention for this session today. You can have a personal intention, you can have a global intention. Whatever that is, just honor that in your heart space. My intention for this session is that we all feel more deeply connected to each other and to our divine presence, and that we feel that this community is our soul family and that we're all in this together. And then just breathe and allow the light of your heart to expand out around your body, becoming this beautiful golden column of light, holding you and protecting you and connecting you to your guides, to the divine presence, and then also connecting all of us in a giant golden column of light where we are held, supported, and cherished by our guides, angels, archangels, all of our loved ones who have gone before. And with that, then I invite you all to come back fully refreshed, fully present. Open your eyes as you're ready. And I'm going to just jump right in and open it up for questions. And then also let us know who you're asking.
Yeah, for the medical intuitive, my question is, are all my body systems in harmonious optimal balance? Like I got energy, I got a Reiki session on the evening after I got the Johnson & Johnson shot, and I held the intention of just the minimal response for optimal balance. And I wonder if that worked.
Yeah, it tests pretty weak. I probably would spend some more time on that right now. All I can tell you is about strength or weakness. So when I ask, it doesn't test strong that really did it forever kind of thing. I think it might be an ongoing piece. So if you want to run Reiki another day or time, I would also look into clearing the statements about that as far as any negative side effects for the vaccine. So we even did an audio MP3 all about, COVID and all that and clearing. So I think there's over 100 clearings in that. So for time today, obviously, it would take us more time to work on that for you. But I think it's going to be an ongoing process as you go through the different seasons. You don't test clear right now. I'm just changing it real quick for you. But you're going to want to, play with this thing at least. I mean, your people are even saying about twice a week just to kind of stay on track. It's kind of like eating a great meal, or if you had a bad meal, you're not going to say, I'm never going to eat lunch again. Or if you had a great workout exercise, you're never going to say, I'm never going to work out again. So it's a little dicey to say I had a Reiki session, let's just say, and now forever gone are all the possible side effects. I think this thing is going to keep spinning and moving. And as we go along, you'll still need to do some clearing. That would be what I would suggest. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I'm also going to participate in an online energy work retreat at the end of this month. And I'm thinking that will help too.
Yeah, that can only help you. Of course, absolutely. Yeah, the more of that you can do, the better. And, whatever method you want to learn in order to clear yourself energetically is only going to help you too.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Paige. I wonder if it would be helpful if we have time at the end, maybe to do a global clearing for that particular concern.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a YouTube video that I released a couple weeks ago on recoding the VAX And that is something that anyone can get for free on my YouTube channel. Just go listen to it. It's a meditation to clear that energy. If you do have some negative energy around it, or even if you don't, it brings your energy up. It sends the energy around the entire concept. So that can be helpful.
Yeah, and that's a great way to go. Like you suggested, people need to watch that as well. That's just another tool that could really help folks. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, if you've been vaccinated, you still want to raise your vibrational level higher regardless. So that's a great suggestion. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jimmy.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go next to Manali. Manali, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Okay, hi, Shayla, and my question is for Courtney, and it's about departed loved ones entering your dream.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know, how do they enter the dream of a person, and is it like, because the dream world is a world of our own, and they are living in the spirit world, so how do they come from the spirit world to the dream world, or is it the same world, that the dream world and the spirit world? So that's my question for you.
So that's a great question. One thing, I talk to departed loved ones all day. One thing I notice when they talk about coming in dreams is there's not in the spirit world a real division like we think of between dream time and waking reality. That's sort of like a perception we have in this reality, that there's a division. I also noticed that loved ones are often around us all the time in some form, but we can be busy or distracted or whatever, and so they might come in a visitation in dream time to be able to actually reach us and talk to us. It just seems like that's one thing I observe. Another thing I would say is that if you have, it's just through intention, right? We can connect with loved ones who have departed in dream time through our intention, and as souls, they can connect with us in dream time through their conscious intention as well. So just to remind people that we have a lot of access to power as individuals, and we aren't in some ways, it feels like we're separated, but we're not separate. So I hope that helps and answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Milani, and thank you, Courtney, or Manali, sorry, I said your name wrong. Who else has questions? And we have a lot of people in the Zoom, but I don't see hands up. There's one. Josh, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hey, Courtney.
Hi, Josh.
Good to
I
see
know,
you.
Josh. Good to see you too.
Okay, my question is for you, Courtney.
Mhm.
It seems lately I've noticed a lot of what appears as negative influences around me, and I've been working on practicing my forgiveness for what humanity is going through.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions on how I can intensify this forgiveness? I may judge a little bit on some of the choices that are being made by individuals, but I do have a sort of higher perspective on intelligent love. But the forgiveness part, is there any suggestions for us as a collective when we encounter what seems to be I don't want to say disturbing, that's kind of a hard word, but separateness, where we seem separate.
So are you feeling that from other humans, or are you talking about like attack from entities?
No, not entities, it's
Okay.
other humans, and maybe
Other humans.
It could be political. It could be
Right.
mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine.
Yeah, there's a lot of all of that right now. I feel and observe it as well. Well, let me just see what the guides want to say. Just give me a moment.
Thank you.
So I'm hearing Saint Germain, and he says to forgive yourself in this practice of forgiveness, meaning observing when you don't forgive, observing when you do forgive, but just to simply make that the cornerstone of the practice is to start with forgiveness of self. And we're being really pushed and tested, it appears, is what he's showing me, kind of like back against the wall. Humans are right now. And so he wants, or is suggesting, that we all start with a practice of self-love and self-forgiveness. And so when we judge or notice ourselves judging, we just observe, make a different choice, and forgive ourselves. So I think it's simple, but not necessarily easy to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He also is showing me a picture of a person in deep meditation. Through the process of quieting the mind, one can observe their I am presence, right? And when we are in our I am, our God self, we can it will be easier to forgive.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good reminders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I would also add to that, really just be an observer of what you're experiencing and where you're judging and where you're taking yourself out, where you're sort of getting into the polarization, the negativity, which is so easy to do, right? These days, everybody wants you on one side or the other of everything. And so it's just to be aware of that, to notice that, and then notice where you can bring yourself back to center. And yeah, I thought that was beautiful, Courtney, and Saint Germain. So thank you. Jimmy, do you have any advice for us on that?
Yeah, I would say to him, the Buddhist saying is holding the judgment or the grudge is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. So you want to get all that out of you as quickly as you can. The most basic thing comes to mind is Ho'oponopono. You could be doing that, which is simply, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And it's just a constant reminder that as much as you would want them to judge you for whatever your belief is, you really want to stay out of judging them for their belief of whatever they got going on. We don't know what their history has been or what all they've been through, and we just kind of have to honor them and let them do their thing without us getting dragged into it. So the more you can stay out of that fray, I think the better off you are.
Yeah. I'm also hearing the words that we don't have to meet people where they're at, energetically speaking. And I think that's helpful, right? Because I think we're often, if somebody's in a really toxic space, we might be tempted to sort of lower, and I don't mean in a mean way to say this, but kind of move down to that frequency or that vibration to engage with them. But I'm seeing to sort of stay above, and as Jimmy was saying, so this is similar, but stay above it as much as possible. Keep your vibration in a different space, and we don't have to meet people in that space of whatever they're experiencing.
Yeah, for sure. Focus on what we want, not on what we don't want. And keep putting your attention on what you want, what you do want, how you would like to see the world, versus your attention on the things that aren't working, that you don't want to see. And what we focus on, we expand, we get more of. Yeah. All right, wonderful. Okay, I have some hands up now. Let's go to Claude. Claude, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, it's kind of an extension to the question that was just asked now. So when COVID first happened, I had a very active life. I have 2 children. I worked in the finance field for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, boom, my life just changed. We were shut down. And everybody was talking about being lonely. And I found it to be such a beautiful experience. And now that everything's opened up, because I've immersed myself and just, I practice Kundalini yoga. I sit, but because I'm so immersed in my family, I don't always have the time to sit down. So I do it when I can. So going back to that question, as far as like going back out into the world has been a very difficult process for me because I'm an empath. Sometimes I think that I am seeing more negativity than the positivity. So sometimes literally walking out of my door can feel like, what am I, like, it's already like negativity. And so going back to my guides, right? I want to connect with them for support as to how to connect myself back to humanity. Even asking this question right now, my heart's like going, just because I have been almost like cocooned for a while already. And just, it gives me a little bit of anxiety sometimes being around people and shopping, so.
Great, okay. Courtney or Jimmy, who would like to start?
I can respond to that. I noticed with a lot of people I'm working with right now, and myself included, that period where we kind of were in our cocoon, there was a lot of kind of deepening of gifts, and a lot of people's intuition and their abilities kind of came online in a way that might be stronger, and more powerful than ever before. And with this sharpening or deepening of gifts, going back out into the world now can be really overwhelming and really kind of jarring. And I feel that some days myself. So it's just coming back to grounding practices and keeping your energy field clear, like doing work to learning how to charge your energy field, and also doing work to ground and clear yourself on a daily basis. Learning practices. I work with people a lot on this, but I have a class on my website also. But learning practices to strengthen your energetic boundaries is really, really important right now. We do not have to be, this is what I'm hearing, the dumping ground for everybody else's stuff. We just don't. And we don't want to be, because we want to be vessels of the divine and be here to share our light with the world, right? And when we're constantly feeling like other people's stuff, it can be really a lot. And we might feel it, but ground, let it go, do a process to let it go. So that's what I was hearing.
Thank you so much. That was great.
You're welcome.
Another thing that might help you also is to think of it in terms of it was a real reset. I know you'll recall even the air out of New York City, out of LA. I mean, it all cleared up. It was like amazing. People were sending pictures all over the world, no smog in LA. And I live in one of the oldest neighborhoods in Florida. And people really stopped driving cars all that much other than walking to the grocery store near us. And they literally started walking all through the neighborhood constantly. It looked like a Norman Rockwell painting, right? It looked old fashioned. And all the neighbors would go down to our dock at night, towards the end and watch the sunset. And they'd bring little drinks of wine or whatever, but we haven't had that sense of community in like forever. So I make every effort to focus on the positive side of that. And you want to look at this as you had a reset and things are great. So as long as you're grounded and holding healthy boundaries, it shouldn't matter whether you're at home or, you know, in the subway in New York City, really. It all starts and ends with you. So when you work through that, you're going to be fine.
That was a good question.
Yeah, thank you, Claude. All right, Scott, go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, everyone. My question is, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, I've been doing a lot of letting go and learning how to let people disown me, I guess, in a way, because of the way I think and see the world, and not trying to lower my vibration to theirs and keeping mine as high as possible. But I've been having a lot of, I guess you may call Ascension symptoms. I've changed my diet and I'm trying to sleep as much as I can, but I have a lot of joint problems, bursitis, gout, tired constantly. And I'm just wondering if maybe it's because I'm having a hard time letting go of my family, like my kids.
Okay. I guess I'll take that one. You know, there's all kinds of scripts for gout. Non-prescription way to go also is tart cherry. You can get a whole bunch of that and sip that throughout the day, a giant jar of that, and that will go a long way to help you out as well. 9 out of 10 things I see when people will come to me or do Zoom or Skype, if they have bone issues or things like you're talking about, 9 times out of 10, it's joints. And I've been doing this a really long time. So that's really what you got going on. I mean, if you can do Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, anything like that, it's going to really help you. Also, hydration is super important for you. And you need as much as, you know, certainly over 50 ounces, just below 60, about 57 ounces of water a day kind of thing. And that's going to go a long way to help you as well. And most people are walking around dehydrated. That's why they can snap and crack their fingers, their elbows, their whatever. When you're super hydrated, it doesn't do that. So, and as far as the family disconnect goes and all that, you know, you got to still stay loyal to you and keep the mission on whatever your mission is and continue on. Jordan Peterson is a famous psychologist. He taught at Harvard. He's Canadian. And he would say, if you stop to help the guy on the street that's homeless, he'll end up dragging you down. And I'm paraphrasing, but you understand what I'm saying. So, you know, if you are on your way to being more elevated and more of a healer, more of an intuitive, you just don't have time to stop and argue with every person that perhaps doesn't believe in what you're doing. Churchill said, if I stop to throw a rock at every barking dog, I'll never complete the mission. So there you go. Hope that helps. And that's for everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes,
I loved
of
all
course.
of I love how you have all of these quotes. You're just like, you know, it's like you're a walking book of awesome quotes. Courtney, did you have anything or?
I thought that was a great answer. What I'm hearing, the words that, just to respond a little bit, is that, you know, people are, and this is for everyone, I think, that sometimes people will be uncomfortable when you shine your light. Also, just as a reminder, this is what I'm hearing and seeing as an image, that the mirror goes both ways. So sometimes when we decide to be who we are in the world, it can be sort of like an uncomfortable reflection when people are still staying hidden. So I think that is some part of the dynamic going on with you. So that's what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you, Scott, and thank you, Courtney and Jimmy. All right, I'll go to Elaine. Elaine, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
I'm overwhelmed. This is just this to see you guys all today, and especially you, Jimmy Mack. I appreciate all the work you have done for everyone.
Thank you. That's sweet. Thank you.
I have had a lot of pain in the back of the head and the back of the neck for a long time, and it's all been getting better. I don't know, am I making sense?
I don't get back of the head as much as neck. You mentioned neck, so I'm immediately drawn C3, C2, C1. It's atlas, so it feels like your atlas is out more than anything, that sensation. My personal slant on the chakras and all that is I feel like they're in constant motion, constant moving. If you get all that perfect, then you go out and do something or have a meal or you walk through the grocery store or anything else and they've all changed. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like everything is running so perfect and it's like, don't touch me, you'll mess this up. Right.
Okay.
We're just in a constant state of flux. So I don't
Okay.
get that for your head at all. You know, on a level of believe, think, know, or feel, you might have felt that was something, but I don't get that. It's all atlas. And I'm just asking them to change that for you right now and realign that. And that would help you out a lot.
Awesome.
And often we'll have what I call wrongful sleep. I mean, everybody has been, you know, like this and sound asleep and you wake up, your wrist hurts, your elbow hurts, and you go, I have no idea why does this hurt? And it's like, well, you were kinked up for 4 or 5 hours or something, you know, so that can happen too.
Yeah.
But I don't
Well-
see anything head-wise at all. It's really neck, it's top of neck, it's atlas. So we just changed that as we said it. And so hopefully that'll give you some relief. I'll bet you sleep better tonight and you don't have as much interference. So there you go.
Thank you, Jimmy, for your help.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'll
Thank
let it
you,
go. All
Elaine.
right.
I will say that at the beginning, we did ask that there not be personal questions, that when you ask a question, that if you could make it general or applicable to the whole or more globally,
Oh.
that would be helpful.
Awesome.
And,
Sorry.
you know, of course, this is being recorded. So also when you share
Oh,
things, just to be
great.
aware of that.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Elaine. Go ahead and mute yourself again, and let's move on to Edna.
I apologize. I'm not in a position to be on video right now, but I'll rephrase my question because I don't want it to be personal. I've also had some health challenges in the last few weeks. And I sense that they are energetically related, specifically vertigo, and then that seems to have mostly cleared and moving into some joint pain, as the gentleman discussed earlier. So I think my primary question is this something that as your awakening continues, which has been going on for me for about 2 years, that will ebb and flow? Do I just sort of accept that as a part of the process, that things will manifest physically? Or is it something that you can expect to move past in at a certain stage? And what sort of work could I do to expedite my healing of physical symptoms so I can begin focusing on sort of the work and things I need to do? And hopefully this applies to more people than myself.
Yeah, thank you, Edna. I'm just going to start with that, and then I'm going to pass it to Courtney and Jimmy. But I do want to say that as you bring more light into your body, as you upgrade, and you know that is ascension, embodied ascension, as you raise the frequency of your body, it's kind of like shining the light where the shadow is. And so sometimes you're going to experience more of those symptoms of things that are more congested, more dense in your body. So bringing the light energy up also brings the shadow up to be let go of, or to be acknowledged and let go of. And that's not a bad thing. That's just a noticing thing. And so the good news is it's not bad. I think if you want to call it bad news, is it's a never ending process. As long as you're in the body, there's more, there's always another layer to peel from the onion, so to speak. So I'll start there, and then Jimmy or Courtney.
Okay, so yeah, and to your point, that's very well stated. And yeah, I mean, as long as we're in the physical body, you're going to have stuff from time to time. Also, when you're referencing things like maybe your neck hurts, an elbow, maybe the next day the left ankle, that kind of thing, or joint pain, that to me is always indecision. And so that's when you have that traveling pain, and this applies to everyone. So then you have to really kind of look at, well, what am I being indecisive about, and clear that. And again, anything that's joint pain, Generally, you can do things like glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM. I really like MSM as a sulfur component to it. You know, and of course, hydration is key. So I don't even get you're drinking enough water either. Water circuits are off. I'm just turning water circuits on for everybody now or in the future that sees this. There you go. And you certainly need to have a lot more water. I like turmeric, curcumin too. That would help as an anti-inflammatory. I mean, it's even in mustard. That's the ingredient of mustard. It's an Indian spice. So that would help you as well. You test really strong for that. You test weak for black pepper. But again, everyone, if you have a touch of gout, that it could go a long way to do the tart cherry and a lot more water. And everybody needs to be doing Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, something in movement. You know, every day I get up and go to LA Fitness. So you just got to keep moving.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I was fascinated by your response to the gentleman earlier because I had the strangest craving for a tart cherry in the last couple of months.
That just tells me you're really intuitive. That's all.
Okay, great. So I should continue with that, I'm presuming.
Yes.
Okay.
And to me, that's horrific to drink. So you can dilute it, you know, pour it over a ton of ice, that sort of thing, and sneak it on by. Maybe put stevia in it or honey. It won't knock down the effectiveness of it. So
do you see the dried tart cherry fruit as being as helpful, or is it primarily the juice?
It tests strong for you to get the liquid. So
okay.
you test weak on the pills, but strong on the liquid. And when I follow the pills, then you're still not drinking enough water to dilute the pill to do any good.
Oh, wow.
They have things like Third Wind, and there's different brands where it's super concentrated. And I want to say it's about a 32-ounce bottle. It's a glass bottle of tart cherry. And
okay, perfect.
That would work for you. That tests really strong for you when I'm in it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll just add on that that was super helpful. I will just add on that I'm noticing Ascension, to echo what Shayla, their Ascension symptoms are pretty ongoing as we're trying to acclimate new energy in the body. But to also just pay attention, you know, if you've made a decision to ascend, but as we ascend, things also have to be let go of in terms of food, in terms of things we used to participate in, just lower vibrational foods. And, you know, you can really, so it's really useful to also just take stock of what you're eating and drinking all day. And this is just more of a general comment. It's pretty necessary to make some changes. So.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. I love your work with Elisa, by the way. It's just fascinating, and you're so gifted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Next we have Lori. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Between 2016 and 2020, all 4 members of my family have had cancer. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and spinal tumors all up and down, stage 4. My husband had prostatic cancer. My oldest son had leukemia, and his younger brother had small bowel cancer. And my question is this all originating because of where we lived?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I get a whole lot of no on that. It's more of a DNA piece. I get weakness or a no on where you lived. It wouldn't have mattered where you all lived at the time.
Okay.
You know, the fact that you know dates and times of when they passed and exactly what cancer they have.
They haven't passed.
Yeah. I'm saying that in the past dates and times and what cancer they had, I would make every effort to stay out of that and not categorize that and work on you. And so since you are out of that loop, that's great. And often we'll find it doesn't come from the male side of the family. It actually comes from the female side of your family. Is a higher probability of a cancer on that. So I'm just asking them to release all that right now in the pattern so that within your family now and in the future, we're releasing the pattern of cancer. And now it tests weak for cancer for you guys. And cancer, what happens is in that, I find at least that the cancer itself will be some odd combination of bacteria or virus, mold, fungus, mildew, yeast, candida, negative pathogens or parasites, and even allergies in that, or heavy metals. So you got to kind of figure out, at least through dowsing, standing sway testing, muscle testing, maybe you see an intuitive like Courtney, but you've got to figure out what those things are and then go after that. And that would help you more than anything. But I would inspire you to eat super clean and, you know, get out there and exercise and do all you can to keep it moving. That's good. That's good. And so you can outrun most anything, believe it or not. And, you know, that's where you can be. So I hope that helps.
Well, I was replaced with, right after I went into remission, 3 years after my diagnosis, I had shoulder pain, saw an orthopedic surgeon, and they found there were tumors in my humerus, my left humerus. And then I had that investigated, and they found out that I have another slow growing cancer, follicular lymphoma. Do you feel anything like that?
Oh, I mean, you know, we could spend our day on those things right now. I mean, I certainly get bacterial pieces on that. I would be doing all kinds of herbs and spices and different things. Again, exercise, that sort of thing. I would be doing healing. I would do a little bit of everything. I'd be eating super clean. Juicing shows up for you, and you get the idea, and just go on from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want to. I don't want to see you get caught up in chasing it around. And so the indecision piece will move it around too. And so I'm just asking that clears for you now.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
You're welcome. Yeah, and for anybody that sees the show now or in the future, if they have a cancer issue. And it isn't so much energetically we're clearing the cancer issue entirely right now, but we're clearing the energy around it so that perhaps they have that ideal encounter with the ideal physician that can handle it, or the naturopath or the chiropractor or whoever that gives them some relief, or they stumble upon some ad where this exotic green berry juice will help them with that. And so it starts to open all kinds of doors for healing as well, and you'll get more intuitive answers and more intuitive outcomes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll mute.
Okay, well, we are getting close to the end. And before we go, because we've had a lot of personal questions, I'd love to make the last of this much more general. Courtney and Jimmy both, I'd like to invite you to do a like a process for the whole. I know we've had a lot of questions today around like just staying aligned and balanced in the energies and the kind of the back and forth energies of polarity that are happening right now. There are also a lot of comments about ascension symptoms. So is there one that would stand out that maybe, Courtney, since you're up, maybe we could ask the ascended masters or an ascended master who has a comment, what is the best thing we can do to keep our energy clear, to keep our emotions balanced, to stay out of judgment, you know, in that whole body of being in the positive for mindset rather than feeling the negativity?
Those are good questions. Let's just give me a moment. I'm hearing this is Yeshua, Jesus. He says, make each day an act of devotion to the spirit within, to the God within. So it's about setting our intention for each day when we wake, that we are going to live in spirit, in devotion to the higher aspects of source, and we live from this place. And that's a good place to start. As far as keeping our energy clear, I'm seeing just paying attention to how we feel throughout the day. And, you know, it's just as simple as imagining and asking that our energy be cleared, that all energy that we don't prefer, that's not ours, leave our field. And there's lots of ways and processes we can do that, but just to keep it very simple for the group, we can just begin to open our connection to source in all moments and ask and intend, and that will really help. I'm also hearing to remind people that whereas, we have these ideas about self-care and how we can take care of ourselves, kind of even become like trendy or something. But whereas, a few years ago, where this idea of taking care of ourselves was like trendy or popular, it's now to really it's changed, in that it's much more necessary with the amount of different higher energy coming on the planet. And it's an act of love for ourselves. So just each day doing something to care for yourself and love yourself. And it can be super simple, like drinking enough water, right? Just one simple intention, which thing Jimmy's reminded me of, that I haven't been drinking enough water this week. So thank you. But just a simple intention each day can really shift and change our perception in our life. So that's what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Courtney. That's beautiful. So making it every day sacred, or as many moments as you can throughout the day, taking care of yourself, but not being extreme about it. And also just bringing more joy into
absolutely.
your moment by moment. Beautiful. All right, Jimmy, would you be willing to do or demonstrate the my liquid fish process?
Sure. We're going to go with you.
You know what? I think I've been on camera enough. I'd love to
Okay.
let someone else volunteer.
We'll work for Courtney. How about that? Courtney,
There we go.
Can you stand up, face due north?
Oh.
Hopefully you can be barefoot or have your sock feet on.
No, I don't wear shoes around my house.
Good. That's great.
Okay, so I'm standing up.
Yep. You're going to
All
face
right.
due north. Sun comes up in the east. Turn to the left.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
whichever way that is, and it's
Yeah.
strong mountain pose in yoga. It's going to feel like somebody's pushing you forward or tilting you forward for yes, pulling you backwards for no. Some people will use their fingers and get yes or no. They'll use pendulums. They use standing, however it works. Everybody's been to the chiropractor probably, where they push on your arm, and all they're looking for is weakness or strength. And all we care about, Courtney, is forward is yes and backwards is no. So if you say,
Okay.
my name is Courtney, you should feel the pull forward.
Yep.
There you go. And if you say,
Okay.
my name is Nemo the fish, you're going to feel the pull backwards.
Okay.
There you go. So we're going to clear you and everybody that's on the call now or in the future that hears the sound of my voice or sees this program today or any replay in the future. And we're going to start with I am clear. So you can say that, Courtney, and see if you go forward, back, or in between. I am clear.
Okay. I am clear. Okay.
So that tests out good. And the second one's called I am unclear.
I am unclear.
And it's going backwards to no, and that's how it should be. And Courtney and I have never met before today, so she'll tell you this is as real as it gets. And the third one is called I am running forward.
I am running forward.
And that tests out great. And see, you show up as a pure vessel so that we can do all this, because you test as clear yes, unclear to no, and running forward. And most people don't have all that. Is what my mother used to call discombobulated. Most people wouldn't have that lined up. But what we're doing is turning on the computer, jumping to the internet or Google, and the third jump would be to that person. And Courtney and I right now are up on the ether waves, if you will, and we're going to work on the whole group. And what comes through immediately is just downloading more guidance, ethereal guidance for everybody now or in the future. And I'm just fishing it in and changing it. Courtney can't even see me, but she's going to feel the pull forward as it comes in.
I can see it too.
And that's it. And here comes more. It's going to be stronger now. We're going to do it for everybody in the group, and that'll feel a little bit different. And there you go. That's awesome. And we really want to have folks really come to that realization, have that aha moment where their lives improve. And so we're going to bring in some of that good stuff too for everybody now or in the future. It's going to pull Courtney forward when it comes in. That's awesome. So then my next little place I'll move to would be anxiety, stress, and tension, people feeling stuck in the deep morass of everything that's going on, the division between the pandemic of, vaccinated, not vaccinated, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But we're going to release all this division, anxiety, stress, and tension, and it's going to pull Courtney back when it releases. And there you go. And that's as if we're dumping all that out for everybody that's on the show now or in the future. When you watch this, people can play along with a pendulum, their fingers, you can actually feel the releases. And that's going to help us too. Now, I also want to bring in for everybody now or in the future that the rest of your life will be the best of your life, and to remember to make progress every day. So I'm fishing that in now. It's going to pull Courtney forward when it comes in. There you go. And she's acting as that vessel of light that is just sending this out to everybody now or in the future. And it's no different than us being on this Zoom call right now. It's all energy, and they're way smarter than we realize, and they're always in the room, and it's really quite funny after a while. So there you go. Awesome. Looks good. Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you. That was interesting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Courtney. That was fun to be the observer. And Courtney, you're so clear. It's amazing to watch just how you're immediately responding.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so we are at the end of the hour. I think I'm going to go ahead and close there, so we're not going over and taking up any of our wonderful speakers' time. But I appreciate so much everybody who tuned in live, everybody who tuned in on Facebook. Thanks to all of you. And you can see Courtney and Elisa Medhus today on the Alchemy of Ascension Season 4. You'll be able to see Jimmy Mack. I believe your show's tomorrow coming out. Those are by email. So if you found this, you're probably already in it, but if not, shoot me a message at washelasananda.com. Just go and fill in the contact form, and we'll make sure you get in. And they're offering gifts as well through the summit. So be sure and tune in. I appreciate all of you. Again, thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Everybody. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Namaste.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.